people no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman pikin dey the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun diary politico. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, this man not dey off in mind. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo. Aha! Now him una don hear all these bad politicians dem wey call themselves politicians wey dey thief our money wey no want make the common man get wetin him suppose get for this country. Una never hear something. Na go hear one Mayegun, he go show una pepper. Mayegun diary political. So my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make we laugh. Oh yo yo.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo do. Mayegun diary.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun diary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary,
Thank you so much for joining me. Share this broadcast. Yes, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Mayegun today.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary, godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary, ẹ fara balẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹ́kọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary.
I'm so sorry for the a little bit delay. Have you actually dropped your own offering? Have you liked this broadcast? Share it. And if this is your first time of joining us, my dear brethren, please subscribe. It's never a dull moment. You won't regret it. Except if you belong to the camp of the one Nigerianists, those who live in denial. We don't on this platform.
Lórí YouTube, Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn láti. Mayegun ti dé. Ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́.
Thank you.
Àní ẹ̀sùn láti. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn láti.
Thank you very much. So good evening to you once again. Good afternoon to you once again. And then good morning to you. Or wherever time you are watching this. This is Mayegun Live. And if in the last few minutes you have settled down by reading the caption of this broadcast, the description simply means that it's going to be another interesting night. It's going to be another interesting night with different interesting jibes all across the Nigeria 2023 electoral charade. We are following them bumper to bumper. And tonight is not going to be an exception. The whole beam or searchlight has been on Chatham House in London. I mean, this has been the place that those who want to be president in Nigeria have been visiting to get their own validation. And at the same time, They see that as their window into the world of the international community in case if they become president. So because of this, they tend to be more prepared, more refined, and then, a little bit kind of more dramatic too. But nevertheless, the first person that showed up for this season happened to be Kolu. The second person that showed up was Obi. And the third person that has showed up right now has been Kwankwaso. And I won't be, sort of comparing all of them tonight. I will have another night where I can compare all of their stuff, okay? But the highlight of the conversation, I have managed to bring some of them to you. We're going to look into them. And with enough time on our hands tonight, I am also going to take you through to the how Atiku has been coping lately. They said, wherever you are, please put Atiku in your prayer. He's going through a lot right now, but he seems to be brazening up and then brushing it aside like it's nothing. I'll come to that. So it was in Ekiti, then Ogun State. It was in Ekiti yesterday, it was in Ogun State today. I'll take you there. I mean, the highlight of that one was that Titi Abubakar, Atifu's wife, was part of a message to the people of Ogun State was, please vote for my husband so that you can so that you can make me the first Yoruba first lady in Nigeria. Oh dear. Anyway, that's part of the whole thing. And none of Atifu's appearances will make any meaningful impression on you without the involvement without Keneri Dino. So remember that. So we'll cover that tonight. And again, Kaduna, where Obi and his team showed up today, the obedient. I wasn't expecting what I saw, the visuals and the conversation that happened there. We're going to touch that as well tonight. So without wasting much of our time, I think we should get started. Kwankwaso in London today, where he came to talk about his idea, his policies, and his parties and all of that stuff, right? He read this speech as usual. He's prepared there one. Then afterward, right, it was question time. Nadia Wala started. Yeah, question time is always the time that Wala always you always look forward to the question and answer time. But you see this obedience that took over London, a few days ago for Obi. I think some of them also were part of the audience. I mean, they were all trying to save Nigeria, aren't you? So one of them now just asked Kwankwaso at that gathering, where the arrogant, pompous, entitled Kwankwaso was in his own world, living in his own bubble, until one obedient went there to cause wahala. I wouldn't say wahala, because that, in fact, what Kwankwaso's response became the highlight of the entire Chatham House visit. What happened? Somebody asked Kwankwaso and said, see, Mr. Kwankwaso, now that Obi is the leading candidate, are you going to step down for him and work with him so that he can save Nigeria from PDP APC? And so Kwankwaso provoke. And you remember that when this whole thing started, please, if you have been a regular attendee of the Temple of Truth sermons, where myself, Abagio, and so many other people here have, corroborated what I've said in the past. Do you remember I told you, I said, if you want to know how divided Nigeria is, like when we say the whole thing is fake, fraud, just make believe, like Nollywood, make believe, it's not real. There's nothing patriotic about Nigerians starting from their leaders. It's all charade, it's all facade, fake, fraud. But some say, don't talk like that. You don't talk about your country like that. Don't. I say, okay, don't worry. Their election will hit the crescendo before the end of 2022, and you will begin to come back to me and say, You were right, Mayegun. Nigeria is a divided country. Nigerians are divided people. But you see, for 3 years, right, they may be at each other's jugular, this and that, right? But when election is coming, hardly a typical Nigerian will be able to hide the obvious hatred, the vision, and attempt at any opportunity that is given to them to strangle the next person because of where they come from or the religion they follow. That's typical Nigerians. And their leaders, they know that. I said, when their election gets heated up, it would expose, once again, as always, the tribalism, the racism, the religious intolerance, and every other thing that you can say, wow. And I'll give you an example. It didn't take long. You know that when the police, they say end police brutality in Nigeria, end SARS. For those who know the real story, when end SARS started, young people in Nigeria, they organized one of the best, most coordinated, most peaceful, and the most effective protests in the Nigeria's recent history. I'm not joking. I mean, we all witnessed that. These young people, they used social media to mobilize themselves, disseminate information, and they were working in so much organized networking that the entire establishment, including PDP and APC, they were, I'm looking for the right word. I don't want to say they were shocked. They were shaken. Very obvious. Because for the first time, politicians, money bag, or whatever, all those crooked elites in Nigeria, they lost the control of the young people for the first time. Where did they get that strength from? They were able to use social media to mobilize, to group, and at the same time to raise funds. These guys had walking ambulance. There were no, I mean, if you drop your phone, Nigeria youth, when SARS youth will pick up your phone and they will announce, we found a phone. All of this were some level of energy never seen before. That it threw, or should I say, it thrown the entire system into a panic. I witnessed it. I reported it. Everything is on Mayegun's Diary Political. Just go back to October 2020 on Mayegun's Diary Political. Everything, including the day they shot and killed all those young people. But the significance of the whole thing was that the entire establishment, after sending Dangote, sending Jimovia, sending all the rest of Elumelu, sending all those money bags, those who are keeping the stolen money in Nigeria, running Nigeria economy, they couldn't persuade the young people to back down on their demands. What happened? They unleashed the military on them. For the first time in the recent history of Nigeria, Nigeria military mobilized their soldiers with one single attempt, kill anything that moves. And they killed and they denied. Now, the young people haven't realized that power, right? The system felt like they've boxed them into a corner. Now that's them. They will never we have spoken to them in the language they understand. The humbled slaves and sophisticated morons, the ass lickers, the crumb eaters, who are the foot soldiers of all those criminal groups, PDP, APC. Some of them got converted to see Nigeria for its true color. For the first time as well, in recent time, there was no Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Northerner, Southerner, and the rest of that in the Muslim, Christian. But the usual thing that has been the divisive language, the divisive technique that has always been working for these criminals in Nigeria, your ruling elite, they introduced that. You won't believe it. The system that was, the establishment that was shaken and apologizing here and there, pretending that they are going to make amendments and reforms. Within those days, they just twisted the whole thing. They just started, they're like, okay, their source is the social media. Who are those prominent among them? They started blocking their bank accounts. They started canceling their Nigerian passports. Some of them, they started arresting them at the airports. So they started big clamp down on them. DSS, everybody. For those who don't even use their names on social media, Nigeria DSS traced them to the corner of the earth of Nigeria and they tracked them down. So with all of this, they dare not come back again. But are we all going to pretend that just towards the end, and I mean, just before the 2022 that gave birth to the obedience that you are witnessing today, are you all going to pretend that they have done so well, so many propaganda to tell you that NSAS was because of IPOB? Are you going to pretend? Are you going to pretend that you have not been reading some crooked wearies who saw Lagos state government use their own BRT buses to mobilize thugs, armed thugs, thugs that attacked these people on camera, on video? Then days, weeks, months after that, they started twisting it. Are you going to pretend that they didn't end up having to pretend to make it look like a NSAS protest or NSAS whatever was because of the Biafra, was because of the IPOB? Are you going to pretend? That's part of the propaganda. However, they felt like they've shut them down. So therefore, they continued with the impunity. They continued with the what do you call it? With their dictatorship, their tyranny. Like who else? What did they want to do? Then I remember in December 2021, this was like 14 months after they massacred over 500 young people across Nigeria in order to quench that protest that they later blamed it on us, the diasporans. They say everybody with the diaspora, they are those encouraging them. They are those funding them. They are those, you know what I mean? Businesses were closed down because of NSAS. People were chased away and they were exiled because of NSAS, including those who are now. But suddenly, you know the surprise? At that moment, people said, these young people should go and start their own party if they are tired of this system. Are you going to pretend that people didn't say that? Of course, they did say that. That's why we call this platform Mayegun's Diary Politico. The politics, the diary, and Mayegun himself, the record keeper. It happened. So tribalism and all of this, which they have tried severally, seems not to really be working in the favor of the establishment anymore. But they won't change the tactics. They are not going to go down just like that. Okay. So fast forward to 2022, when these young people started saying, well, back then, they wanted PDP to give them OB. And right here, right then, the same people who did NSAS, they started attacking themselves. Who is Obi? He an Igbo man. He's going to break Nigeria. Are we going to use IPOB? Is he going to be Biafra? So they started throwing in Biafra, IPOB again, because of where Obi comes from. Now, let's now fast forward again to April in 2022. And that was when it actually was like, now this is a joke. This is a joke. But for some of us who know that Obi is just a beneficiary of the hungry population of young people, that's exactly what it is. He is a member of the establishment. He's been part of them. And it kind of feels like he's better than them because he's never stolen anything from you, according to, and he's probably never been wanted for stealing anything. So young people found him, teamed behind him, then they said they are going to Labour Party. Aha! Big joke. You know the story. Now fast forward. to December 2022, just last month, when things began to be, when they started, when they were doing their 1 million march here, 1 million there, we know they pay shishi, we know they do this or that. They were just like joke to everybody then, yeah? But those who were laughing then, I don't think a lot of you who were laughing then are still laughing, right? But now the shade of tribalism, the shade on in all of that. So the same NSAS that was that was devoid of tribe, religion, class, and what have you, now backing and called obedient today, that same force is now facing what you call the gaslighting of the establishment, and it is coming. Initially, it was coming from APC, PDP. And what is that? If you look around today, even some of you watching me right now, there are many of you here who have that ignorant bias as planted in your mind, in your head, by the rotten Nigerian system. Although you love to deny that you are not this, you are not that, but yes, you are. For this old timeline of their history from 2020, do you know that some of you, as the only thing you can still say about them is that it's all about the Igbos. Now, let me rephrase. It is not an, it is not what do you call it? An error. If you listen to anybody saying the Obi is representing Igbos and anything about Obi is about sectional and Igbos, don't think they don't know what they are saying, you know. You know, when you repeat something so much and so much and so much, yeah, you begin to believe them, Abi. But you see, one thing here is this: when people live in denial, dishonest people, like Nigerians, all of you one Nigerianist, dishonest people, when you are so kind of used to being dishonest, as a nature, right? You become so shameless and blind to even what is going on around you. Now, let me say this again. Whenever you see Tifnumbu is a Yoruba man, and you won't pretend that there are no Igbos who are also. Now, you may say they are following Tifnumbu because of money is given to them. That will be your own excuse, but that won't sort of invalidate the fact that there are Igbos that want Tifnumbu. There are Fulanis. There are non-Yorubas that want Tifnumbu. You know that, Abi? And you would never feel, I don't think any of you feels like Tifnumbu's presidency is about Yorubas. Because, yeah, in reality, you have realized that even Yorubas, majority of them have rejected Tifnumbu himself. Yeah, that's a fact. Right? Now, at the same time, you won't deny the fact that even maybe your friend or your family member or your co-worker or somebody that you are buying something from, one way or the other, who are Yorubas, as a Yoruba man yourself, have face-to-face told you that they are for Obi. But in your bigoted mind, as the likes of Kwankwaso, as they have already sort of conditioned many of you, you are still going to come out and say, Peter Obi is about Igbo, Abi, just because of what they have told you about the Igbos, Abi? Yes. Now, let's take it back again. Nigeria, as you can see it today, okay? When you meet those who are following Atiku, they will tell you they are doing so because they believe Atiku will save Nigeria. And everyone else, they are just going to destroy Nigeria. Kwankwaso, that one is not serious. As an Atiku person, they will say, Kwankwaso, no, we are not serious about that one. What about Tifnumbu? No, Tifnumbu is going to sell Nigeria like he sold Lagos. What about Peter Obi? No, that one is IPOB. Do you think all those things are coincidence? People are paid to amplify something like this, to validate your inner Nigeria bigotry. That some says, I mean, I can be tribalistic. Yeah, we can define that, Abby. Being tribalistic. I'm doing this because it's somebody from my region or somebody from my tribe, which is fair enough. Just say that without having to be like, falsify things that will further prove people like myself that don't let them lie to you. Now, here it is. Kwankwaso was in London. You have all seen the obedient everywhere. Fulani, Hausa, Northerner, Easterner, whether they are many or they are not many, that's another conversation. But imagine a politician in London, right, answering question about, would you step down for Atifku? Would you step down for Tifnumbu? Or would you step down for Obi? And what he had to say was that, no, he would never step down for all of those. But listen, you that ask me that question, the way I'm looking at you, it's like you are from one particular region, right? He couldn't mention that. He couldn't say, you are Igbo, Abi. So you're asking me to step down for your brother, Abi. Let me tell you something, okay, about your brother. I was going to help your brother before. An Igbo man. We don't really like Igbos, okay? An average Northerner will never vote for an Igbo man. That's what Kwankwaso said in the past, before London trip today. So listen, I was just going to help your brother, okay? I was going to make him my vice, so that when I become president, I can introduce him and say, okay, they can trust him. But when I started talking to him, I realized that Labour Party is about ethnicity and it is about religion. Even call you shock. Do you understand that? Me, I have told you, I am not interested in all those promises and all those nonsense they are saying to you. You can believe them at your own peril. That's your own cup of tea. But if you pay attention very well to these guys, if you by any chance get to see anyone or any presser to press them to say things that are really inside, the ones that they say in their own private rooms, but they pretend or sort of a politically correct about them publicly, those are the things that you need to pay attention to and stop lying to yourself about anything about Nigeria. Because what? You might wish well for Nigeria, but you need those who actually have the power and control the levelers of government in Nigeria, who don't mean any well for Nigeria. They became what they have become, right? Simply because they rode on the back of a divided Nigeria. And how divided is Nigeria? Tribe, religion. But in all honesty, can you say that the obedient that you have been seeing, that they are doing so because they are Igbos? Can you say that 100% of those who are obedient that you see everywhere, in all honesty, can you say they are Igbos? And can you say those who are obedient there and those who are Igbos and non-Igbos and they call themselves Nigerians, as some of you are calling yourselves as well, right? Can you say in all honesty that they have been doing so because of religion, fanaticism, because of religion? Can you say that? But if you listen to the likes of all these politicians dropping those lines, they are called dog whistle, gaslighting. And it is not by error. If you see all of those who are Tifnumbu's people, whenever they want to talk about the obedient or Obi, they single him out and they put him beside IPOB. And that's why everywhere he goes, they make it look like asking for your own independent country is a terrorism act. None of them is worried about Boko Haram. They are not worried about Fulani terrorism. They are not worried about all these ruins. Do you think that's coincidence? It's not coincidence. Because every day they need to build on this hatred, which Nigeria is made of. Ask people, they will tell you. He hasn't said anything about IPOB. What do you want him to say about IPOB? Call them terrorists. Would you still be satisfied? Hey, he is a fraud. He is a scam. And that is somebody following Tifnumbu at Tifku. Now, that's what I'm saying. Their election exposes what the one Nigeria truly mean. It simply means a lie, living a lie. I actually kind of will feel pity for you, the obedient. But you know I'm saying the truth. The reasons why all this tag, gaslighting, right? And indeed, the violence that is still going to erupt out of all of this. The reasons why they are going to be so is because of the individuals who are leading this different flock of ombud slaves, and they're going to be telling them, even though they are talking about Nigeria, but they're going to be telling them, this one is our enemy. This one is your enemy. I am the one who is coming here to save you. Even the one that is dealing with you right now will come and say that one is your enemy. If you see them, you need to fight and kill them. If you have to kill anybody, you have to kill. But at the end of the day, when you finish killing yourselves, when you finish eating yourselves, when you finish, right, drowning yourselves, then you start watching all these criminals come together as friends, sharing your common patrimony. So Kwankwaso is so entitled, and that's exactly where we're going to start from. I'm sorry that it took us a while. I just had to do that because most of what I'm going to show you tonight are just going to be the happenings. But in talking about the division and those who are planting them, the reasons why they call the, what do you call it? They call the Igbos, Nyamiri in northern Nigeria. The reasons why they said they can never allow an infidel to be the president of Nigeria. Are you kidding that you don't know all those? Or are you trying to pretend that there are no people who are actually living or leveraging on that to keep Nigeria to what it is? You're going to pretend about that? Of course not, you won't. Now, here is when Kwankwaso appeared in Shuttered Mouths in London today. He was telling them about his program. Maybe we should start taking them one after the other. Let's start with this one.
Out of school and girl child education, national literacy campaign, higher education reform, examination bodies, and scholarships. Some of the immediate actions we intend to take include: A, we shall reform the education sector in its entirety to ensure accountability, expansion of access, and improvement of quality. Every Nigerian must have access to good quality education, not minding their social status. B, we shall incentivize enrollment of the girl child and all the children from poorly served communities. C, we will eradicate illiteracy in Nigeria. Every adult shall have the opportunity to acquire literacy and engage in lifelong learning. D, we will mop up the 20 million out-of-school children in Nigeria and get them enrolled in schools in the next 4 years.
Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to bore you with that, okay? I can even run it, I'll restream it for you, what he said in shorter mouths. So I'm going to be picking them just like that, okay? So he was talking about out-of-school children. He's going to do this, he's going to do that, blah, 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 blah. Kano State and Borno State controls the highest number of out-of-school children through the Almajiri system. So I don't want to go into that, okay? He promises that. He said more. Here is another one.
While thanking the UK government for the numerous support and assistance being extended to our country, both directly and through a number of development partners, while appreciating the good work that numerous UK businesses in Nigeria are doing to build our economy, our incoming administration will work deliberately to strengthen the Nigeria-UK relations post-Brexit, expand businesses opportunities, and create business climate that will make Nigeria a more attractive destination for investors. Finally, let me say this. Our country is yet at another crossroad. We are facing an election in which, for the first time in 20 years, President Buhari will not be a candidate. We are going into an election at a time when poverty is biting so hard and money-bagged politicians believe that they can take advantage of the very poverty they inflicted on the nation. But unfortunately, we are also going into this election when the election umpire, INEC, has successfully gotten the enactment of some of the far-reaching amendments targeted at improving the conduct of elections and preventing election rigging in Nigeria. My 30 years experience in politics has taught me that free, fair, and credible election requires so many inputs, so many commitments, but the commitment of the president in particular and that of the presidency in general is key. If the presidency wants free and fair election, it will happen. Thus, the burden of conducting free and fair elections, much as it depends on the performance of INEC, politicians, security agencies, and other stakeholders, it largely rests on the corridors of the presidency. While thanking the UK, the EU, the USA, and the other friends of Nigeria for their support in deepening democracy in our country,
and blah, 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 and blah. Pius Atu, thank you very much, Baba. Happy New Year. Like I said, right, you can see this full video on YouTube, okay? But I want us to take a little bit of a break here, just a break. For those who have been paying attention to what is going on in Nigeria, like myself and many of you here, have you ever seen anywhere that people are demanding that Atiku should say something about these Fulani terrorists and the Boko Haram? The Boko Haram up north, ISWAP, and the Fulani terrorists terrorizing the entire southern Nigeria. Have you ever seen anywhere people are like mentioning Atiku and mentioning the Fulani terrorists and the Boko Haram and like, you know? No. Okay. APC, Egbekegbe is the one ruling Nigeria right now, yeah? Have you ever seen anywhere that anyone has ever asked Tifnumbu what he is going to do about the Yoruba nation, IPOB, Fulani terrorists, Boko Haram, and ISWAP? Have you? I'm just asking. Like, I'm talking about vehemently, where people are like, you know. But have you seen anywhere that Kwankwaso has been held down by any of you anywhere to explain what he has done to end Fulani terrorism or end ISWAP and end Boko Haram? I'm just asking. Have you? Like, no? Now, again, how many times have you seen where everywhere because of Obi's Igbo from Igbo land, who has publicly denied Biafra? He denied Biafra publicly. IPOB no like him. You know that for those who actually follow events, Peter Obi and IPOB in the same word, you are just being unfair. You are being unfair to the just cause of the indigenous people of Biafra, the just cause against impunity, against marginalization, against systemic profiling. Don't deny all of this. How many times have you seen where people are asking Obi, what has he done about IPOB? Do you see the contrast? No, you haven't. You didn't see that. Okay. That is the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. Let me take that again. APC, Egbekegbe, is being ruled by Nigeria. And under APC, Egbekegbe, Nigeria became more divided and more pronounced. Agitation everywhere due to the unbelievable mismanagement and mishandling of a country like Nigeria under APC in a space of 7 years. Agitation everywhere. Yes, Yorubas, we are pressuring too. The Biafrans, they are they're like pressing. You know that. The young people that became obedient today, they were murdered for asking for police reform and protection from the police criminals. Agitation under them happened. But I haven't heard anybody say, what is Atiku doing about IPOB? So their fight is legit. But Nigeria has spent so much a fortune to delegitimize them, to criminalize them. And they are putting all of that in your head. Even when they are putting all of that in your head, are you going to pretend that this is not part of the divided Nigeria and the divided lies and all of that they are planting that has been working for these criminals for years? And it seems that this is the last stroke of it. Are you going to pretend that Peter Obi has been held in more high standard than even the government that is meant to provide security for the Nigerians? So, are you going to pretend? Kwankwaso is working towards 2027 from those who have the inner ideas of what is going on. Kwankwaso knows that his whole show is not beyond Kano. He won't even win anything in Kano. Not because he can't, but because with Gandola and their rigging APC, Egbe's machine, just forget about it. He's going to cost, no, he's not going to cost anything. You are talking about a rigged system, then you want to try and push something that is like good idea into a wrong system. Don't try it. You're going to come back, with regret. APC, Egbe, and they are rigging. They're just like 5 and 6. Do all you can. They will do all the rigging openly. And then that's why I'm more interested in how are you going to deal with it when they rig you openly? You're going to fight? Protest? What's going to happen? They're going to shoot and kill? You're going to go back again? I'm more interested in post-election. But don't let us deny the fact that indeed, the card of tribal, the tribal card and the rest of them seems to be the last of the last push of the establishment. So no, Kwankwaso is there. And somebody rose up today, and Nigeria has become that, okay? If somebody rise up today and says, in a gathering, where Atiku Day, where Obi Day, or where Kolu Day, Tifnumbu, if I rise up as a Yoruba man, and the moment I want to ask a question from Obi, and I started talking about IPOB, just know that it is not coincidence. Obi is Igbo. And then historically, Nigeria establishment, which includes the Nigerian elite, the Hausa Fulanis, the Yorubas, and then, should I use that word, bastard Igbo elite as well? Because all of this that is happening to the Igbo people in Nigeria, okay, let me be honest with you, right? None of this could have ever happened, right? Without the support and the collaboration, the cooperation of the Igbo elite, your politicians, your royal fathers, your businessmen and women, your politicians, and none like that. These are those who ensure that Nigeria continue to treat you the way you are treated. Like, we are all being marginalized, all of us. We are all poor everywhere. We are sharing in the whole marginalization all over Nigeria. Nobody is safe. The elite doing all of this, they are friends, including Igbos, who are pro-Nigeria because of what they are getting from it. So if you rise up and you are an Igbo man and about to ask a bigoted Hausa or Fulani man a question, there is a cord behind his back brain that will automatically trigger up and set ready, because that person that is about to ask me question is an Igbo man. And I know that Igbos don't like us, even though we are all claiming to be one Nigerians. But I know I don't like Igbos. Igbos don't like us. But let me pretend that I love everybody. But I'm waiting for it. Let that Igbo man ask me that question. So if Igbo man stand up and say, Kwankwaso, Senator, thank you very much, sir. You changed my life. When I left Onitsha and I moved down to Kano, I had nothing. Your free education when you were governor allowed me to study. And you also gave me this and that. Then you see that trigger, that thing we don't trigger from the back. It could just go back to, it could just go back to the default setting and say, okay, no wahala now. But I say this one, one of those who go tell me, say, I'm a very good person to Igbos. And I can tell my people to record his voice so that I can use that and show the rest of the world. I'm a fool and Hausa man. Oh. But look at this Igbo man. I changed his life, even though I don't really like them. That is the truth. Yeah? So an Igbo man asked Kwankwaso, it's not even an Igbo man, an obedient, who is not even Igbo. Can you believe that? And says, sir, we have seen what is going on, and we think that I just want to ask you that if TTO thing comes to a point, would you like to step down and work with Toby? And so Wahala started. It's all those blah, 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 UK government, UK blah, blah nonsense, eh? Baba can't drop all of that. Come on, now answer this guy. Where is that guy? Kwankwaso? Here. After the question, I want you to pay attention, please. Pay attention to how his countenance changed when that question was asked and when he started answering it. Okay? Okay, I'll play you the part where he started answering the question, right? I want you to watch the intonation and I want you to listen carefully to the every word and the way he worded them. It's very important for why I made it the caption of this broadcast. After they asked him to step down for Obi, instead of saying, no, it's too late, I can't, and all of that, he just went on this religious blah, 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 blah.
Label. You see, that's the problem we have. The gentleman who stood up.
Did you see that? You see, that's the problem we have. This gentleman who asked me this question must be from one particular region. He can't even say it. Because his instinct tells him that person must be Igbo for asking me that question. Listen again.
Label. You see, that's the problem we have. The gentleman who stood up there, I'm sure he comes from a particular group or a region without even asking him, just because you saw, if you have a party which is based on ethnicity and religion, that's the difference between Labour Party and, of course, our party, which is a national party, New Nigeria People's Party. Now, we want, please, you see, while we are accusing leaders of being one thing or the other negative, I think the followers also must learn how to be Nigerians, not coming from one part of the country. Let me say that I was one of those initially wanting to work together with Labour Party. But unfortunately, at that time, Labour Party was under very serious media hype. And therefore, they could not see reason. And he still not see reason that I will withdraw. I wish you didn't go to that extent. You would have said that to work with Labour or to work with APC or PDP. That would have been more responsible.
You get that? You could have asked the question and say, will you step down to work with APC, PDP, or Labour? But you didn't say that. And the way you ask that question, I think you are from a particular part of the country or you belong to a particular group. So let me now clear it, okay? You know, when they are doing some document release by government, they'll say some part of the document are redacted. Redacted means you will see the content, right? But some part of the line, they will just put black line on them. Sure, you get. You will still be able to read, but you like names and that and all of they will blank them out. They are called redacted. Unredacted is when they take off those things, those cover. I will redact what he just said now. That's small speech, right? Kwankwaso, an entitled, arrogant Hausa Fulani northerner and a Muslim who has been part and parcel of the rot you are witnessing today, especially the journey that brought you here. APC, Egbekegbe. Now, that Kwankwaso, a supposed Nigerian, asked him a question. Would you step down for Obi? Because it's more popular, it's more acceptable by everybody everywhere. And he said, listen, you must be from a particular region. A particular region is referring to, no, first he said, he would love to be a Nigerian because his party is National Party and it's a Nigerian party. Labour Party is ethnic party and religious party. So you asking me a question, you must be from a particular region. You must be IPOB. You must be from Biafra. You are an Igbo man. Or you must be from a particular group. You must be obedient. See, I can't associate with you, whether as IPOB or Biafran, or as obedient, because you guys don't believe in Nigeria. Do you see that? In their efforts to blacklist and criminalize a legitimate indigenous people's advocacy and demand. And Peter Obi, who happened to be one of them as elites, in order to rubbish that Obi, they have to make sure that every Igbo man supporting Obi, every obedient, which is now beyond Igbos now. You all know that if not to say na Igbos you bring Obi won't even matter in this conversation. You know that, all of you know that. You know that even the Igbo elite, none of them, many of them they are not supporting him. And publicly they have chastised him. They don't want him. They want Atifku. They want Tifnumbu. They don't believe that it's going to be anything. But yet, the rotten establishment would like you to believe that Obio, now the Igbo people want to be president of Nigeria. That's why they are pushing Obi to you. And those who are pushing him, they don't even believe in Nigeria, including you, the obedient. Somebody said, Mayegun, that's actually so insulting to me. I know. Are you obedient? Or you are from a particular part of country? All of these are not coincidence. They are not mistakes. They are not something that, out of ignorance. No. They are called dog whistle, gaslighting. Whatever you say out there, all they have to say back is to say, those who are pushing him are IPOB. They want to break Nigeria. They even made this guy to come out and said, I am not for Biafra. Biafra is dead. Even saying that to entertain and then to satisfy them. But because, traditionally, historically, in Nigeria, it is not written, unwritten, Nigeria is fighting Cold War with Igbos. And that has been the continuation of what you call the Nigeria of today since 1970. No winner, no vanquish. That's the truth. A lot of you have your suspicion. If you are non-Igbo, you have your suspicion. They are just too arrogant. They have no respect. They cannot, they believe that they know everything. They believe that they want to control everybody. They are saying that Lagos is no man's land. All of those things that absolutely no meaningful. They are the excuses that many of you are giving for the bigotry that the criminals like Kwankwaso, and the criminals like Okorocha, like the criminals like Tifnumbu, criminals like, as you may have all of them as your leaders everywhere, the bigotry they have implanted in you, you need just one or two excuses to justify it. But are you going to pretend that disobedience that you are seeing everywhere, majority of them are in your family? In northern Nigeria, they are there. In southern Nigeria, they are there. In Yoruba land, they are there. Inside of your family members, your distance cousin, your colleagues, are you going to pretend? And you are going to pretend and say, the only reason why I just don't really like this obedient people is because they are the IPOB. What do you mean? Obi hasn't condemned IPOB. Is he condemning IPOB? The reason, condemning IPOB is what you want, or for Nigeria to at least do justice for once. Do you know that same IPOB has won over 13 court judgments against Nigeria? Nigeria is yet to get one single conviction for anything that is associated with IPOB in Nigeria. Do you know that? Or you want to pretend you don't? Yeah, your government told you they are terrorists and this and that. They are responsible for the insecurity here and there. You don't care that your government can provide security for you, keep you safe, but give you excuses in order to justify why the Igbos must not be trusted. But look at the whole contrast. I'm just saying, are you going to pretend? My own is that I have told people that na lie una dey tell una selves. There is no one Nigeria. You have many Nigerias. And the people who are cooking all of that, the people who are ensuring that remain the same thing, that divide and rule, this Muslim, that. Will you look at the obedient and say they are religious fanatic? Will you look at them and say they are shouting religious this? You know why he said that? Obi has been visiting churches. And Kwankwaso is a Muslim. Norma. The likes of Kwankwaso, Bokwari, and the rest of them, you would have seen them everywhere. But people are no longer associating with them. And that is another part of this whole thing. They said they are jokers. They are just a bunch of clowns. And I mean, can't tell you, say, even if you don't believe in them, I am trying to tell you to pay attention to them. Pay attention to them. Pay attention to them. If you are laughing at them, you may not be laughing too long anymore. I am the one who told you that. Whether you believe me or not, even the establishment have to up their game, and they are relying on your genetic bigotry. People will choose Muslim tickets in a country that it is 50-50 Christian, 50 Muslim, and they are battling about who is going to control what. But when you take the billboard of that religion out and say Muslim Christian billboard, oh yeah, put them aside. Don't put them aside. Put it raise it up. Oh yeah, if you are a Muslim, oh yeah, stay behind the Muslim billboard. If you are a Christian, oh yeah, stay behind the Christian billboard. And you begin to take the poll. Say, okay, 133 million Nigerians are living in extreme poverty. 133 million. Okay, oh yeah, let's start counting. How many of them are Christians? How many of them are Muslims? Then you realize that none of this mean anything to these criminals. But they will play the card anyway. We have to protect our religion. We have to make sure that Islam is the best. We have to make sure that the coming of Jesus Christ is the best. But yet, the criminals who are using all this cards on you are plunging you with your faith, with your belief, Muslim, Christian. They are plunging you into perpetual poverty, including your unborn generation. This APC, with their insensitivity, as divided as Nigeria has become, they decided to choose a Mumu ticket, Muslim ticket. Mumu ticket, they say. No be Mumu, so that people don't take offense. Mumu is different from Mumu or MM. And you know the MM is like scam, right? They had to go that religious side. You were witnessing that. And Kwankwaso is talking about these people being religious, this or that. Now, their card, though, I am just here to point them out, and I have done that. If you don't believe that it's actually a real card, there are other worries, apart from Kwankwaso's worry. Even Saraki is worried. And his worry somehow sounded close to what I have heard on this platform several times. When he become president, as if he will become president, when he become president, it's going to be this. Why don't you just, they are obedient as saying, if you say we are going to lose, why don't you just let us lose in our own way? Why are you worried? Why are you concerned say we're going to lose? You get what I mean? And they say, okay, if you win, sir, you cannot do anything. They say, okay, let us win first. You know me, I they see everything. Until I saw Saraki on the TV, and he is also worried. You know this kind of worry, 8 months ago, I don't think made any sense. 8 months ago, it was like, oh, Benny, leave these people, Obi is going nowhere. And I know some of you still believe that. Whether they go anywhere, they go anywhere. I have told you, it's a story for another day. But 8 months ago, you were right. Today, are you sure that you are still feeling the same way you felt 8 months ago? This is real. It's happening. Guy became a candidate in a party, and they started telling everybody to go and collect PVC. Suddenly, more than 28 million new people are dead. And you think that's a joke? Are you still laughing? You better start getting ready for something I call a big revolution if this goes the other side in the usual way. Are you prepared for that? Are you still laughing? Even those who are like the owners of Nigeria, Saraki and the rest, they are worried. But you on social media, if they go nowhere, you better not go nowhere. Because if it goes somewhere, the shock alone may not make many of you to actually know what to do next. If you just be Operation Wet here straight away, in shock. Because even your leaders are no longer taking it lightly anymore. They are like, even if he wins, I ain't go take win. Person they talk say, go see 100,000 votes. Go see 1 million. Okay, they started with 4 people, 400 people. Go see 100. Go see 100,000. Go see. Now they are saying go win one state. All that stuff. Narratives are changing every day because of what we are seeing, Abi. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Even your own leaders, they are worried, just like some of you who feel like if he wins.
When you talk about the other parties, with great respect to them, to the individuals, particularly Peter. But again, don't forget that what we run in Nigeria, we run a presidential system. When you go to that ballot box on the day of election, you're voting for party. You don't see Peter, you see a party. Now, a party where from day one, you don't have candidates in all the parliamentary seats. So already from day one, there's a recipe for disaster because you know that the executive and the legislature are not going to have a majority. And a lot of people, when you ask them, what is their concern now? They tell you restructuring. These are things that need constitutional review. These are things that need you also to have a majority in the National Assembly. Investors are no longer satisfied with executive orders. They want to see legislation to support investment. So if you're a party, a small party, that you don't even have the spread, because we've seen the experience in 2015, let's move away from intention to reality and practicality. The practicality why APC has failed, because APC really was a special vehicle party to win election, not a party that was built with cohesion. And so a small party does not have the spread across the country, even if it has a president and doesn't have parliament from day one, we're not going to see what Nigerians want to see.
So it is now changing from go get this to let us try and reason. Because if he wins, it's anything we see as it is, like Kenneth will say, we no get dog inside this fight. Let me explain that to you, okay? Most of what is going to happen in your 2023, charade and the rest, right? I can tell you this free of charge. In fact, many of you are obedient, right? In the obedience movement and all of that, right? Many of what will shape or how you are going to actually go about your 2023 as obedient information and all of that, I know something. Most of those supports are going to come from the diaspora. They are already there. Here you get. So, some of us have no say in what's going to happen, but we are always the victims of whatever you do in Nigeria. In this case, that you have catched the fever of facing the establishment in this way, for somebody like myself, Mayegun, it is ideal, right, to kind of prepare the mind of others like myself, for what we believe to be the post of this whole thing, right? They call it post-election anyway, post-election, whatever. Last year, no one will speak about the obedience like that. You know that? No. Abi? From the record I have also received, when they deliberately tell you that everything is obi as well, it is also deliberate. From the record I got, right, Nigeria have 107 senators. Abi, 107 senators, Abi? Out of the 107 senators that Nigeria get from the 107 senatorial districts across Nigeria, in this their next month election, right? The Labour Party of Obi, they have about 85 members contesting for, they don't have 107, no. They have 85 of their own people who want to be senators in this their election. But they won't tell you that. In Nigeria, they have 360 House of Representatives. This record is with INEC. Go on to INEC website. You will see the lists of parties and candidates. Go there, INEC Nigeria. Go on there and check. In Nigeria, House of Representatives, they have 360 seats in House of Representatives. The Labour Party of Obi, they have 290 people who want to be rep members. In Nigeria, across Nigeria, 290. But they won't tell you that. Because Obi is Igbo. An Igbo man wants to be president of Nigeria. And he doesn't want to bow down for the power that be across Nigeria, the elite. Therefore, where does he think he is going? He is just playing around. He is just clowning. In Nigeria, they have 36 State House of Assembly, which comprises of over 1,470 something members across Nigeria. Out of that 1,400 something members contesting to be House of Assembly members across Nigeria, Peter Obi Labour Party have over 1,000 Labour Party members who wants to be House of Assembly members across Nigeria. You have about 30 states that are going to contest for position of governor in Nigeria in this about 28 or 30 states out of 36 states. In the INEC register online, go and check it. Labour Party has about 18 governors in 18 states, governorship candidate in 18 states. All these data are there if you read them, Abi. But those are not the narratives out there. Why is everything Obi? Something is happening. And I don't think some of you are prepared for it. It's what the kind of vibe I'm feeling is that because many of you are not so prepared for it, it's going to be such a shocker to the system, including some of you. I'm not saying even if you don't. I'm saying that even if you don't belong to any of this, if you don't believe in the election and all of that, there are some of you that are actually underplaying what is actually brewing and going around and going on. I'll tell you something. Before this whole thing got to this, right? And as it has gotten to what it is right now, what I figured out is this. Out of all of them that are saying they want to rescue Nigeria, you see that of the obedient, it comprises of about 5 different groups. I'll tell you them. It's coming from the obedient you see today comprises of, as you know, right, young people from this and that, right? Those young people you saw during the answers then, some of them also have some little, one or two sympathy for some of these criminal groups, APC, PDP. But you see, after that event that changed their lives forever, what Obi is inheriting right now is inheriting those who wanted the APC to finish anytime soon. Those who are disgruntled in the PDP wanted to finish anytime soon, right? Those who have regretted ever following APC in northern Nigeria soon. The Yorubas who feel insulted that the likes of Kolu is being propagated as the best from Yoruba land. Now, he is picking up all these small and big court from everywhere to make up this. It's more or less like a revolution against a system that people have pretended about for so long. Something is going on. and it's not going quiet. That's what I think. And when you listen to some of these guys who are like the pros, the champions, the powerful back then, coming out to now start rating them, and you underrating them, you might be doing yourself some injustice. Just like a lot is taking shape. The last time that Pastor Tunde Bakari came out and he told you he's a Yoruba man, he's a member of APC, I want to drink. Let me have some drink. I'll come back in a minute and tell you about that. Okay, don't go anywhere. And mind you, if we have over 1,500 of us right now on YouTube, over 1,600 of us on YouTube, and we only have about 300 of us who have actually dropped their own offering, which is like the broadcast, to show that you are here. You are not a robot. You can use the remote control of your TV to like this broadcast as well. Grab the remote. If you're watching it on screen, grab the remote. Go on to the screen, roll it up, and then just click like. When I get back, we're going to go into Pastor Tunde Bakari's latest statement. But before that, let me take you to Ibadan. Let's use this as a break. Show, Omoyele show, right? It was out too yesterday. And I love this. I'll use this as my break. I'll be back in a minute or two.
Mo kí ẹ̀yin bàbá wa, ẹ̀yin ìyá wa, ẹ kí ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ tí ẹ wà lórí ìjókòó. Mo fẹ́ tọrọ àforíjì lọ́wọ́ yín pé a pẹ́ dé díẹ̀. Ìlú Kano láti ń bọ̀, la dé sílùú Èkó, la wá ń bọ̀ ní Ìbàdàn. Ṣẹ́yìn náà mọ bó ṣe jìnnà sí. Àmọ́ kí a tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ ọ̀rọ̀ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Adédayọ̀. Mo ti mọ̀ wọ́n láti 1992 sí 1993 nígbà tí à ń jà fún ọ̀rọ̀ June 12 nígbà tí Alhaji MK Abiola tí wọ́n win election táwọn ológun àti àwọn mọ̀dàrú káàkiri Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n sọ pé Abiola ò lè wọlé, Yorùbá ò lè jẹ ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Ìgbà yẹn ni mo ti pàdé wọn. Mo ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé ṣé wọ́n ti bí ọmọ wọn tí wọ́n lókìkí ń sìn tó ń pè ní macaroni ńgbà tí mo pàdé wọn ní wọn tí bí macaroni ńgbà yẹn pé 1993 ni wọ́n bí macaroni tí mọ̀ sí tí orúkọ ìtàgé wọn náà ń pè ní macaroni.